Hi, welcome back. Today we will show you how to create a rolling forecast by using one of the inbuilt features from Inforiver, and we will also show you how to create different scenarios for when you will need to have a best, a moderate, or a worst case scenario, in a way that we can also write all this data back to the database in a similar fashion as we have shown in the previous video, so that we can always keep and rely on a single point of truth. Just stay with me, I will show it to you. So now, if we can recall, we had the actual values for the years 2019 up to 2021, and for 2022, as we could see here, the actuals are all 0, but we have created a plan. This is very common in different companies where they create a full year plan, target, or also called budget. But it's also very common to have a forecast. So what would be the difference? The difference is that the forecast is based on the latest actual figures, and we create an adjustment of the estimates that we had before, so that we later on can compare it against the plan, for example, or against the actual figures as well. But many times also we actualize the forecast with the actual figures. Without getting too confused here, I just want to mention that Inforiver has the features for all these cases. So after pointing that out, let me show it to you. If we click on Insert at the top and then we go on Insert Forecast, we will be able to create a forecast that I will name FC for short. Then I will create it for the period from January until June 2022, and I will actually link it to the actuals, because when the period gets closed, I will show it to you in short here. Save. Whenever the period gets closed, by that I mean when the actuals are actually getting completed from the data source, then the forecast gets replaced by the actual figures. That's the type of behavior I would like to replicate in the future, as soon as I start getting figures from the data source for 2022. For the time being, I can just create a forecast where I will use a couple of values from the plan. I would say the forecast based on the latest figures is not going to be as high as the plan. So I would say maybe it's going to be only 27 millions that I will expect for the revenues. Sorry, I just 27 million like this. And now we will do the same for the rest of the values. Now, after completing the values, we have our forecast for 2022. This is also something that can get done on a monthly or a quarterly level. We just have decided to keep it on a yearly level, just for the sake of simplicity to explain the feature. So after your forecast is finished, we will be able to manage all the details about it, if it's going to be a rolling forecast or not, or when is it going to get the period closed by a specific day on the next month, for example, that we could define here. Sometimes it happens that in companies it takes time to collect the invoices or the bills in order to close the month on time. And we can manage all that very easily here. And what we could also do is to manage the columns at the top, so that we can include this forecast as one of our versions for the forecast placeholder that we have already here in Inforiver. What is the advantage? The advantage is that variation calculations will get created automatically for us, for when we will have to create a performance or comparison analysis later on. For now, let's take them off. And And let's create a scenario. That's the second thing I wanted to show you very quickly. So if we click here on scenario, we could create, let's say, a best case scenario for the period of January 2022 until end of the same year. Create. And as you could tell here immediately at the bottom, now we could see two tabs. One is the version that got saved automatically for the base case, and then the second one is going to be the best case that we will be able to manipulate in order to create a different version of the company situation. And we would say, okay, in this new situation, actually in the best case, I would say that the plan is going to be 7% higher in terms of the revenue. In the forecast, I would say, let's say 4% higher than the one that we estimated on the base case before. This way you can manipulate the values, if you have the permissions, obviously, in a very, very smooth and easy way. And then you can write this back to your database and retrieve that data back to any other tool or any other chart that you may have in a similar way as we have explained it on the video before.